and Tom Washington. And Utah controls the opening tip. This is Darren Williams, who has been superb, guarded by Smush Parker. Carlos Boozer off the spin and gets the roll.
Well, right away we see Boozer's use of the left hand. I think it rivals that of any postman in the league. I mean, he's quick with the ball. You see him make that quick move, and then to go back to that left just made that play.
And Boozer had a strong game against the Lakers last Friday night in Salt Lake City in the Utah win over Los Angeles. Shot clock is down to 5. And here's Brown. Brown with the rebound, able to snatch it. And then it's handled by Okur.
That's been the story for Kwame Brown the first few years of his career. He's good enough to get to the rim, but he doesn't finish well. His hand's a little suspect, and he seems to rush through plays a little bit.
Boozer being played by Brown. And here's Williams to the fadeaway against Parker.
Well, he has been so good this year. Maybe the best point guard in the NBA. Obviously, you've got to put Steve Nash up there, but to this point, I think Darren Williams is having an all-star season.
And Steve, this is a matchup of two of the most structured offenses in the NBA. That's a three-point attempt.
Been a lot of talk over the years about the triangle. It's famous because of Phil Jackson's use of it in the years in Chicago. Utah doesn't really have a name for their offense, Marv, but you're right. It's ball cuts, hard screens, very structured, and they've got the personnel to really take advantage of it.
Kirilenko surprised by that pass.
Here's the play I was talking about early. Williams getting the ball into Boozer. Watch the quick move, and then Kwame Brown's going to block this shot, but Boozer goes back to the left. That's what allows him to put the ball in the hoop.
Here's Parker off the cut. And back comes Williams. Utah Jazz last year at this point 6-10. So this franchise in a dramatic turnaround. Team that has not made the playoffs the last 3 years. Beautiful move by Bryant going right at Kirilenko.
He gets the ball over Kirilenko, one of the best shot blockers in the NBA. Kobe looking, I think, stronger and quicker than he has all season.
Boozer wide open. Utah with a 6-2 lead. Lakers coming with a record of 9-5 on top in the Pacific by a half game over Sacramento. Now, depends how you want to look at it, Steve. They've won 5 of the last 7, or looking at it from the other point of view, they have dropped 2 of the last 3.
My glass is half full,
I see.
So yes. I'm going to go with 5 out of 7.
While the Jazz won their first 4, then lost to the Nets in New Jersey, followed up that loss with 8 straight wins to go to 12-1, the best start in the history of the franchise, and now they are 13-3, which is the top record in the NBA. The steal by Parker has Odom. Parker goes all the way. It counts in the foul. Smush Parker with a strong move, and he will go to the line. The foul of Darren Williams.
Smush Parker is an underrated defender. Remember the 2 plays he made against Steve Nash in the playoffs last year? He's got long arms. He's very athletic, and he makes the right read there. Williams holds off, doesn't commit himself, and Parker takes the lane to the hoop.
And Smush had some good moments in the first half of last season. Struggled in the second half. Mentioned some of the good moves in the playoffs, but had problems against the Suns in the postseason.
Yeah, especially the last few games. I think his inexperience showed. He started to let his shooting woes get to him, lost a lot of confidence. But he has done a pretty good job here in Los Angeles the last couple of years for this team.
Mehmet Okur with a post-up move against Lamar Odom, rebounded by Kwame Brown. Here comes Odom. Lamar Odom in the midst of a career year in terms of the stats. Here's Walton. Luke, so efficient from three-point range, not the same as a mid-range shooter. And here's Boozer getting inside.
Boy, great patience from Darren Williams. He could have forced that and tried to get the ball to Brewer. Looked like he might have been able to do so, but he just waited, took his time, and got the ball to the trailing Boozer.
The Jazz with an 8-5 lead. Odom fired. So the Lakers move within 1. Utah, a very good road team. They've won 5 of 7 on the road. They're 8-1 at home. And playing back-to-back, they have won 3 of 4. They played last night at home and beat the San Antonio Spurs. Kirilenko was pushed. So the foul is called. It is on Bryant. And there's the head coach of the Utah Jazz. Jerry Sloan, 18th season as the head man of the Jazz, and the first coach in NBA history to collect 900 wins with one franchise.
And I guess the others came with Chicago, right? He was a coach with the Bulls for a couple of years. But for the most part, as Okur gets the lefty runner to go, Jerry Sloan has been the face of this franchise. Incredible longevity for an NBA coach.
And as a player, a two-time All-Star with the Bulls, all-defensive first team on 4 occasions. A very tough player. They doubled up on Brown. He found the open man. Kobe Bryant from Kwame Brown.
Oh, a defensive breakdown. I see Tyrone Corbin on the bench for Utah, their assistant coach. Curious, Williams gets fouled on the way to the hole, but that was a breakdown by Utah's defense. Watch the screen and then the slip. That's a Utah Jazz type play. The Jazz love to make that move. John Stockton used to do that. He'd feed Karl Malone, set a screen, and then slip to the basket. And if you don't communicate defensively, you're going to give up a layup like they did there.
Foul on Parker, putting Williams at the line. Darren Williams, second year out of Illinois, and says his first name is usually mispronounced. Says the PA guys often introduce him as Duran. And he says he uses that as motivation. Now that'll get you up for a game when your name is mispronounced, Steve.
Nothing like getting pumped up for the big ball game.
Sky high. Utah with a 3-point lead. 5 minutes gone by. Odom pops it out, and here's Walt for 3. Yes. Luke Walton now 16 of 25 from beyond that 3-point line. He's closing it on 70%, which is number 1 in the NBA. How about Carlos Boozer? He's hit his first 4 shots.
How about that one, too? Fade away from about 15 feet. He's showing the whole repertoire here tonight. And the Luke Walton 3, interesting talking to Phil Jackson before the game. He said he thinks Walton is a better shooter from 3 than he is from inside the arc.
And Kobe Bryant is on target. Lakers in their last game against Milwaukee, a loss to the Bucks here at home. Here's Boozer again. Lakers were 3-point shot happy. They attempted 37. They were 11 of 37 from downtown. That's a franchise record. Most 3-point attempts in a single game. Good play by Aaron Williams to stop the dribble on Bryant. He gets it right back. Throws the double. Boozer over to help, and somehow Bryant slipped away.
Oh, Mark, you mentioned that 11 for 37 the other night against Milwaukee. The Bucks played zone basically the entire game. So LA spent all of yesterday at practice working against the zone. In fact, Utah had their own struggles against Golden State zone last week. So interesting to see tonight if either team comes out and plays some zone. They don't like to, but they know that each other has struggled against the zone offensively this year.
Odom spinning his way. He thought he was fouled. Here comes Williams. And Okur put 3. Now that Okur knocking down a 3. The Jazz up by 1, and timeout is called by Phil Jackson. 5:13 remaining in this opening quarter. Kobe Bryant has the hot hand. He's hit 4 of 5 here at the start for 8 points.
NBA on TNT. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. By AOL.com, now free for all. By Autotrader.com, the smarter place to buy and sell a car. And by the Jordan brand, elevate your game, the Mellow M3.
Welcome back to LA. Utah up by 1. After last Friday's loss in Utah, Phil Jackson accused Jerry Sloan of intimidating a dubious core of officials, for which he was fined $25,000. Tonight, Sloan got under Jackson's skin again by choosing to warm up on the Lakers' preferred end, meaning that Utah's offense will be in front of Sloan in the second half. To which Phil Jackson said it was a sign of weakness, saying that Utah had weak-minded players who couldn't execute down the stretch without Sloan barking out the signals. Now, normally Sloan doesn't care what Jackson thinks, but he said, you know what? This time, Phil may be right. Marv?
Well, here we go again. Phil has had his share of banter back and forth with various head coaches. You recall the days of Phil and Pat Riley, and obviously not so much with Rick Alderman, but the city of Sacramento a couple years back.
Yeah, he gets into it with everybody. Jeff Van Gundy years ago. Of course, the two coaches met in the finals back in 97, 98. The Bulls and the Jazz. Williams knocks down a jumper. And they went at it in the finals. I remember that series very, very clearly. There was a lot of gamesmanship going on between those two coaches in the press.
And you look back to their playing careers, both defensive-minded, very tough players, and that's a foul against the Jazz, and Bernie Fryer does not want to discuss it with Mehmet Okur. It is on Okur. 4.5 remaining in this first quarter. The Jazz up by 3 points.
So they both were the type of players who got under your skin if you were playing against them. Sloan, one of the toughest guys defensively to play against him. And Jackson, well, you watched him a lot in New York, all elbows and knees.
Yes. Phil came off the bench for the most part during the course of his career. The hand is for Derek Fisher, the former Los Angeles Lakers, just checked in for the Jazz. First round pick of the Lakers back in 1996. Spent 8 seasons playing for the Lakers, 5 under Phil Jackson, and a key member of 3 Laker championship teams.
And he's still loved here. He's come back here a couple of times with Golden State the last 2 seasons and always gets a great ovation.
Nice move by Brewer, but the rookie way off on that reverse attempt. Nice handoff Brown for Walton. Try to get it to Odom. Beautiful play by Brewer. Has the long arms, and Brewer all the way. Well, Ronnie Brewer has worked his way into the starting lineup. Rookie out of Arkansas, first-round draft pick. He is the son of one-time NBA player Ron Brewer.
And he shows exactly why Utah picked him. They loved his athleticism. Utah really wanted to update its athleticism on the wing as Parker drains the jumper. And they felt like he'd be a good fit with this club. He's active, he's long, he can guard multiple positions. And pretty rare for a Jerry Sloan rookie to work his way into the lineup so quickly, but Brewer's done just that.
And Ron Brewer's senior team with Sidney Moncrief and Marvin Gelf. Remember, they formed the famed triplets and led the Razorbacks of Arkansas to the 1978 Final Four. Kirilenko with his first bucket. His father played 8 seasons, 6 different teams in the NBA. Here's Parker with a tough angle shot. Kept alive by Odom. Odom getting inside against the team that leads the NBA in rebounding. How about the stats last night in the victory over San Antonio? They out-rebounded the Spurs 50-34. Okur with a quick release.
And Greg Popovich after the game said Utah's just tougher-minded than we are right now. And that's saying something because the Spurs are always one of the toughest-minded clubs in the NBA. Odom with the slam over Kirilenko, and Lakers have to be happy with that interior play. Marv, you mentioned the rebounding. The last time these two clubs met, Utah dominated the boards 45-27.
Last week in Salt Lake City, the Jazz winning by 6. Utah's 8th straight win at the time, and they went to 12-1. Here's Kirilenko stepping back and hitting over Brown.
Well, he hasn't had that part of his game yet this season, not shooting the ball well. He had the ankle sprain, and he's been hit with injuries throughout his career. That's probably the weakest part of his game, but he can shoot the ball once he finds his rhythm.
Here's Bryant with the foul. Yes! It counts for the foul on Brewer.
Talking about finding your rhythm. Kobe now 5 for 6. He was 15 for 47 in his last 2 games. You knew he'd come out here with a purpose tonight, and he is feeling it here early on, doing it from all angles, going against the rookie Brewer. The pull-up gets hit on the wrist and draws the foul.
In all the
Welcome back to Staples Center. Lakers within 2, and Kobe Bryant 5 of 6. Let's show you all 5 makes here. First the fast break layup, then he takes the feed from Kwame Brown, the pull-up out of the triangle, and then maybe a little up and under here around Darren Williams, and then the last one that we just saw over Ronnie Brewer, and Kobe will now go to the line. So quick start coming off those 2 poor shooting games, and I think Kobe's starting to look more like himself, Marv, after the knee surgery over the summer.
Although 2 games back in the win over the Nets this past Sunday night, Kobe's shot was off and he became a distributor and did a nice job in the second half and finished with 10 assists. Jordan Farmar, the rookie out of UCLA, who has played very well, has checked in for the Lakers along with Andrew Bynum, the 19-year-old 7-footer, and Maurice Evans. And the foul is called on Evans. We're down to 1:32 to go in this first quarter. The Jazz up 27-25. Utah with a couple of changes. Matt Harpring has come on, as has Jaron Collins. And Gordan Juracek is Harpring, putting the move on Odom. Try to bank it. Rebounded by Bynum. Bynum had been in the starting lineup tonight for the first time. Phil Jackson going with Kwame Brown. Here's Evans, the former Detroit Piston. Nice move. Going left, and then the pull-up.
Well, he's given the Lakers another option on the wing athletically. They lost Evan George to Dallas in the offseason. So Evans comes in. He can guard multiple players, and very bouncy, and he's fit in pretty well here.
3-point attempt off the mark. Odom with the rebound. Lakers doing a good job off the boards against the top rebounding team of the NBA. Here's Bryant. Oh, it's swept by Evans. Maurice Evans getting inside on the offensive glass. Maurice Evans, acquired from the Pistons on draft day, is a defensive-minded player. Lamar Odom calls him Herschel Walker because he's built more like an NFL running back than an NBA player. Offensive foul. So the ball back to the Lakers. The foul on Collins.
Collins turned into Kobe as Bryant was running past him defensively. You can't do that. You've got to let the defender get to his spot. And if you turn into him simultaneously, they'll get you for that every time.
This is game 2 of our TNT doubleheader earlier tonight. The Pistons beat the Heat 87-85. Detroit now 10-5. They have won 7 straight. Rip Hamilton at 24. Dwayne Wade with 21. And Miami now 6 up, 9 down. Odom got to give it back. And a 3-second violation was called on the hesitation by Odom.
I think Bynum may have gotten caught for the 3-second violation. He was waiting for a rebound on the weak side and didn't exit the lane.
Final seconds of this first quarter. Fisher using the pick. Fisher had the ball knocked away. Down to 1. Kobe from center court. After 1 here at Staples. It's the Lakers 29, the Jazz 27. And the Lakers end the quarter on an 8-2 run. You're watching the NBA on TNT. To the postseason, and who has won 9, count of 9 NBA titles, 6 with the Bulls, 3 with the Lakers, and has his team at 9-5, a team that has spent almost the entire early going here at home. 16 of their first 20 at Staples. That includes 1 game with the Clippers. So aside from last Friday night's game at Utah, they're here in their home arena for 13 straight.
Which means, obviously, that's going to catch up to them on the other end. So it's important for them to get off to this quick start, which they've done. Harpring drains the jumper. But Phil telling us before the game that around the New Year, Christmas and New Year, their schedule gets absolutely brutal.
Kobe Bryant, and Bryant shooting well. He now has 12 points, 6 of 8 from the field. Well, the Lakers here Saturday night for the Clippers. Foul is called on Farmar, and it is a Clipper home game. Monday night home for Indiana, first of another 4-game homestand, including the so-called road game against the Clippers.
Lakers and Clippers actually have, I believe, 6 doubleheaders this year. The Staples Center gets a lot of use as Fisher knocks down the 3. Is it a long 2? Like his foot was on the line. But there's so many events here, and then you've got the hockey team, the Kings, you've got the Clippers and the Lakers. So they have 6 scheduled doubleheaders here.
It should be pointed out, those are separate.
Yeah. No no buy one, get two.
Used to be in the NBA. You'd have all NBA doubleheaders. Evans rolling out Millsap. The rookie has played well. Paul Millsap out of Louisiana Tech, gathering in his first rebound. This is Collins, played by Bynum. Millsap, nice look, finding Hofringer, blew the layup.
Well, that was a perfect example of how hard it is to defend Utah. They set so many screens, they cut so hard, they frequently catch you napping on the weak side, and Hofringer just blew the layup.
Vladimir Radmanovic, who just checked in, not able to hit on his first attempt. We're just underway in the second quarter. The game is tied at 31. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, and Craig Sager. We are in Southern California. Utah Jazz at 13-3. Lakers at 9-5. Both clubs shot well in the first quarter. Not the case here at the start of the second, as Bryant puts the move on Gilchrist. And Fisher comes up with it. Nice lead pass. And the foul on Bynum. So Millsap to the free throw line. Second round draft pick out of Louisiana Tech. Karl Malone's alma mater. And like Malone, Millsap an excellent rebounder. Well, national television coverage of the NBA continues Friday on ESPN. The Kings and the Mavericks coverage starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. The red-hot Dallas Mavericks, who have won 11 straight. And then Saturday on NBA TV, it's the Sonics and the Utah Jazz coverage starting 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
You mentioned Millsap and his rebounding prowess. Led the country in 3 consecutive years in that category. And he might end up being the steal of the draft. Mid-second round pick. He's a terror on the boards. Jerry Sloan says he's a magnet. He just seems to have his hand on every ball.
I think the only question is Guricek called for the foul on Bryant. The question was his size. He's listed at 6'8". He is not 6'8". But as you say, he gets the basketball. He's the only NCAA Division I player to accomplish the feat that you mentioned, leading the nation in rebounding for 3 straight seasons.
Well, just looking at him, he reminds me a little bit of Malik Rose, who's been an undersized 4-man in the NBA for a long time. I think Millsap may actually have a little more offensive talent as he proves my point, finishing the break.
Wow, on cue, Steve. Nice going.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Foul on Radmanovic. And a timeout is called by the Jazz. 3 minutes gone by in the second, and Utah up by 2. Jazz have a 33-31 lead on the Lakers. Utah 15 of 25 from the field, 60% shooting. And as you know, Steve, always a star-studded crowd here in L.A. That's Dennis Haysbert, star of the unit on CBS, formerly of 24 as the president. Hall of Famer Frank Robinson. And there is Denzel. And in his usual location is Jack. Last name's unnecessary.
Just Jack.
Millsap at the line. So he completes the three-point play, and the Jazz now up 34-31.
I think that's one of the most startling things is a double dribble is called on Jordan Palomar. A little miscommunication with Radmanovic. But when you come in here as a rookie, you get used to playing in front of big crowds. You're not used to playing in front of movie stars. You look over there, you see Jack. It's a little intimidating.
Not only that, Jack Nicholson is located right near the visiting bench. Hawkring is off. Rebounded by Millsap. The ball slapped away. Nice save by Palomar. Palomar with the lead. Beautiful pass, and Evans is fouled by Guricek. But with Jack Nicholson right alongside the visiting bench, sometimes he will get into it with the opposition coaches.
Yeah, and he'll talk to players, and it's a thrill for the players. I mean, they're all big movie fans. They see Jack, and they'll start chatting to them. I remember one game when I was with the Spurs, he almost got kicked out. He was yelling at the official during a playoff game, and I can't remember who the official was. He came over and let Jack have it, sit down, or I'm going to kick you out of here.
Usually it's playful on his part, but sometimes it does get to the next level.
He's a hardcore fan.
Utah up by 2. There's Fisher now working at the point, clearing it out. And that pass broken up, and the Jazz fortunate to get it back. Farmar defending on Fisher, beats him off the dribble, goes to the floater, and a loose ball foul. It is on the Lakers. It's on Farmar. Crowd does not agree with the foul. That's the second on Jordan Farmar, first-round draft pick out of UCLA. Left the Bruins after his sophomore season. On the subject of getting on players, you were all over Jordan Farmar before the game tonight.
Just wanted to let him know that Arizona's got a little something for his Bruins this year. He asked me if I wanted to wager on it.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm not that kind of a gambling guy.
The hand is for Rony Turiev, second-year player out of Gonzaga, very popular here at Staples, coming out for Andrew Bynum. Okor keeps it alive. Utah in possession. They're up by 2. Oh, Fisher using the pick. There's Fisher going right at Turiev, and it's an offensive foul on Fisher.
That's what Turiev does. I mean, he's an energy player, and he does a great job of sliding his feet on this possession. The high screen and roll. Fisher just tries to draw the foul, but Turiev is there waiting for him.
Rony Turiev making it back from open heart surgery, had an enlarged heart, putting him at great risk of a rupture. Came back from the surgery, played in 23 games for the Lakers last season. He's had some hip problems this year, missed several games before returning 2 games back against the Nets. Evans gets inside. He's played well. Took a shot and hobbles his way back down court after tying the game at 34.
My only question with Evans when he came to the Lakers was whether he had the guard skills to play in the triangle. And I think he's proven that he can do that as Farmer comes up with the steal.
Jazz able to get back. Odom to Turiev, rejected, and a foul. Okor going for the block and got a piece of Turiev.
Well, neither one of these clubs is a great fast break team. In fact, they're both near the bottom of the NBA in fast break points, but they both like to push the ball into their offense. For the Lakers, that means get the ball up the floor, get to your 5 spots in the triangle, and play out of that. But if the opportunity is there, you attack the rim. And Lakers with a nice possession there.
Turiev 72% free throw shooter. Carlos Boozer comes back, replacing Paul Millsap. Andre Kirilenko back on the floor, so Kirilenko up front with Hoppering and Okor. Lakers now up by 2. Utah coming in with the best record in the NBA at 13-3. Nice play, but Hoppering stopped from behind by Turiev, kept alive by Boozer. And here's a 3-point attempt. Williams not able to hit. Hoppering with the hustle. And they get a third opportunity. Boozer taking advantage.
Well, that possession right there shows you why Utah has the best record in the NBA. They're dominating the glass against everybody this year to the tune of almost a +10 in rebound margin, which is unheard of. But they just pound you with so much energy, and you look at the guys out there, Kirilenko and Harpering, Williams, they all play with high energy, high intensity.
Odom shoots the 3. Kirilenko tried to tip it, kept alive though by the Lakers. Bogdanovic spinning his way, that will count. No, it's now waved off. Now before the shot attempt, Hoppering reaching in.
I think it was a good call because as Radmanovic gets the pass here from Farmar, watch the slight hesitation right there. That's not continuation. That's a good call.
4th team foul called on the Jazz. Lakers also have 4. That pass intended for Turiev. And here's Williams with that hesitation dribble. Farmar all over him. Farmar got his hands on it. And Odom is fouled by Boozer, stopping the fast break. But Utah over the foul limit. That's the first on Boozer. We're at Staples in L.A. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager. A meeting of two of the best teams in the West. Utah, as we've mentioned, at 13-3, the 3 losses to the Nets at the Meadowlands, at Golden State, and at home to Orlando. Lakers at 9-5. They have benefited from many games here at home, and depending on how you look at it, they've won 5 of the last 7, or from the other point of view, they have dropped 2 of the last 3, and they did lose here at home to the Bucks this past Tuesday night. The Lakers have beaten the Bucks 10 straight times.
Well, before that game, Phil Jackson was asked about dominating the home floor. They were 8-1 going into the Milwaukee game. It was asked, do you think you're getting that old home court advantage back that you had with Shaq and Kobe during those years? He said, wait till after this week, and I'll tell you. Then they go out and lose to Milwaukee. So this is still a growing team that has some work ahead of it, but they are off to the nice start, and that's exactly what he had hoped for.
How about Michael Redd with 45 points against the Lakers? Walton gets it down low, and Turioff scores.
I think Turioff is in this game right now, Mark, because Bynum had a hard time with the speed of the action when he was out there. Turioff has more energy, capable to play against a guy like Boozer and keep up with the speed of the game.
Here's Boozer, very tough angle shot. Got Glens. Farmar to the pull-up. Rebounded by Boozer. Coming up on 5 minutes remaining in the first half. And the Lakers have a 3-point lead. See, Aaron Williams checking with Jerry Sloan over at the bench. Kirilenko for 3. Good box out by Turioff.
Very poor possession for Utah, and not like their team. Williams dribbles the clock out, basically. They end up with a long 3 from Kirilenko, but no continuity, no passing, cutting, none of that usual Jazz-style offense.
Now the Lakers regroup. Shot clock to 4. Odom over Kirilenko. And they got the hop on that long rebound.
Lakers actually out-rebounding Utah to this point, 19-17. Phil Jackson wants a timeout.
Down to 4.5 remaining in this first half. Lakers up by 3. It's an 8-2 Laker run. Walton with the setup, and Turioff able to put it in.
TNT, brought to you by Lincoln, Reach Higher, and by the U.S. Army. There's strong, and then there's Army Strong. Find out more at goarmy.com/strong.
TNT Sunday, the protector of the world's greatest secrets, is back. Noah Wiley, the librarian, returned to King Solomon's Mines, Sunday night at 8 on TNT.
Kobe Bryant checking back in after a brief rest. 6 of 11, 12 points for Bryant. And here is Bryant off the spin, so he got right to it. Facing C.J. Miles, the 19-year-old second-year player, just came on. Miles, a starter at the beginning of the season, and then lost his starting job. Here's Williams. Turioff with the save, and Walton comes up with it. And Bryant on the run, met by Miles, and a foul on Miles.
Turioff's been a factor here in just about 4 or 5 minutes of play, but he's giving the Lakers so much energy and activity, and that's how you have to play against this Utah team, because they'll attack you, and if you can't come back with some force of your own, you're going to be in a little trouble.
Kobe Bryant has made it back from the arthroscopic knee surgery. Feels he will not be in top form until sometime in January. Last year, 35 a game to lead the NBA. He's about 24 and change this season. Lakers now with a 12-2 run, and they have their biggest lead of the game, up by 7.
And in that graphic, I thought what was most telling was 27 shot attempts a game last year, 16 so far this year. So he's obviously just feeling his way back in, but in the meantime, doing a better job of distributing the ball and getting his teammates involved.
Calming violation. Phil Jackson telling us earlier that he spent much time at practice yesterday working on ball handling skills because he feels some of his guys are having difficulties with the new basketball.
I'm sure the NBA thrilled to hear that, but yeah, he said that he's putting his team through a lot more ball handling drills than he normally does. He feels the ball bounces differently on the floor as Okur picks up the offensive foul. We've seen the difference when the ball's on the glass, Marv, for bank shooters. I think it's really been beneficial for the guys who like to use the glass, but it does bounce a little bit differently.
All right, let's go to Craig. He has more on yesterday's Laker practice.
Well, Marv, that practice was actually run by Tex Winter, the basketball consultant who was brought in specifically to have the team work offensively against the zone defense, which they've been struggling against lately. Tex said, hey, that book I wrote about the triangle offense, written in 1962, he said that was basically because all we ever played against was zones. He goes, the triangle works. It was conceived, spacing, overload. That's what it's made for perfectly, is against the zone. He tried to convince the team and told them they could just run their normal offense and have success.
Well, and what's interesting is that in that game, both Kwame Brown and Andrew Bynum really struggled with the concept of how to attack the zone. You think about it, they're young players. They didn't have college experience, so they didn't play much or face against a zone very often. And all of a sudden, they faced one for 48 minutes against Milwaukee and really struggled.
Nice play by Walton. Deflected it out of bounds, and Utah takes a timeout. Just under 3 to play in this first half. Lakers up by 7. Steve, a chilly 51-degree evening here in Southern California.
The Lakers have a 7-point lead, and it's been the play of Ronny Turiaf, the energy that he's provided, that he's really given a lift to the Lakers. You see him draw the charge, and he takes the feed from Luke Walton for the finish. He's working the glass against this great rebounding Utah team. You see the save there. So you have to counteract Utah's energy with some of your own, and Turiaf, one of the great energy guys in the league.
Ronny from the Caribbean island nation of Martinique, played high school basketball in France. On the collegiate level at Gonzaga, the officials conferring with each other, and they say last touch by the Jazz, so the Lakers take possession. Smush Parker, Kobe Bryant in the backcourt. Luke Walton, Lamar Odom, and Ronny Turiaf up front. Bryant being played by Miles, goes behind the back. Turiaf gets it right back out. And Bryant is hit on a reach-in foul. Kobe to the line. Williams on the foul. Jazz over the limit. And we will check in back in our Atlanta studios with Ernie Johnson. Ernie.
All right, thank you, Marv. Coming up at halftime, Kenny and Charles will break down the first half, and we've got highlights of the Pistons and Heat. Later tonight on Inside the NBA, full coverage of both games played tonight. Ray Allen gives us a TNT fundamental on shooting, of course. And we'll check in with our NBA insider David Aldridge on Ben Wallace and more. All of that still to come tonight, the NBA on TNT. Back to you, Marv and Steve.
All right, thank you, Ernie. 12-2 run by Kobe Bryant. By the Lakers, as I should say. Kobe Bryant misfires on the free throws.
He's had a lot of 12-2 runs on his
he has.
his career.
Lakers up by 7. Kobe now just 2 of 5 from the line and upset with himself. Foul on Parker. The Jazz in the second quarter just 4 of 15 from the field. Only a field goal over the last 6 minutes. And that foul on the Lakers puts them over the limit. Kirilenko to the line. Gary Briggs, the Jazz trainer, taking care of things with Carlos Boozer, who apparently drew blood.
Marv, this is the 4th straight game that Utah has struggled in the first half of games. They've averaged 40 points per game in the first halves of the last 3. and they're just going to barely break that here with a couple more buckets. And some of it is turnovers. When they've had trouble this year, it's because they're sloppy with the ball. They have 10 already. They're near the bottom of the NBA, 23rd actually. They commit 16 turnovers a game. So that's where their growth as a team has to come from. They're great on the boards. They play with passion. But they've got to learn to execute Jerry Sloan's offense a little bit better with a little more conciseness, a little more feel, and they're throwing the ball a little bit around.
Know that Jerry does not appreciate when they throw the ball around.
No, they don't. I mean, that's what he sort of stakes his claim on. His teams have always executed for so many years with Stockton and Malone, the kicks, the hard cuts. I mean, they put a lot of pressure on you defensively.
Bryant, his eyes lit up when the 19-year-old C.J. Miles checked in. Kobe going right at him again. He's 8 of 13. He has 18 points, just under 2 remaining in this first half. Miles rejected. C.J. having a difficult time. Started the year in the starting lineup. This is a young man who spent some time with Albuquerque in the D-League last season. Here's Boozer. And Utah way off in the second quarter.
Just doesn't look like the Utah Jazz that's led the NBA this year in winning percentage. Kobe again, but can't get that one to go.
Aaron Williams putting a move on. Smush Parker, beautifully done, and then able to go glass. So Williams, 8 points, 6 assists in this first half.
Boy, has he been good this season. He's got a great combination of skills and basketball knowledge. Great feel for the game.
Ball knocked away by Miles. Good play and a foul. Loose ball foul. Well, it's on Miles. That's his second.
Well, we talked about the slow first halves that Utah has suffered through. Last 3 games, 42, 41, and 37 points. 2 of those ended up in losses, as you see. Last night they came back to defeat the Spurs, but offensively they have been struggling, turning it over, as we mentioned, and just not playing with that usual style.
Jazz beating San Antonio to stop a 2-game losing streak. Utah had lost 22 of the previous 24 to the San Antonio Spurs. Reminder, TNT Overtime is on all the time at NBA.com or AOL.com NBA, featuring commentary from, and to my right, Steve Kerr and Doug Collins. Exclusive interviews and complete replays of the award-winning Inside the NBA. The steal by Parker. He has Walt with him. It's Trevor Bryant goes at Kirilenko and scores.
I don't know how many guys in the league can make that shot over Kirilenko. Maybe LeBron and a couple of others. But that was pure improvisation on Kobe's part.
And Andre Kirilenko, always among the leaders in the shot blocking department. 3 a game once again this season. There's Miles to the fadeaway. That's the first field goal in quite some time for the Jazz. Lakers now lead at 49-41. Walton gets inside, and he will head to the free throw line.
Let's take a look at the circus shot by Kobe Bryant. Looked like he thought he had a pretty easy layup right here, and then he realizes, uh-oh, this is the guy that blocks 3 shots a game, and he throws it high off the glass with a little English, gets it to go.
Foul on Harpring, putting Luke Walton at the line. Luke hitting a 3 earlier, so continues the amazing accuracy from downtown. Starter this season, averaging 12.5 per game overall at 52% from the field.
It takes most players a few years to really play with confidence in the NBA, unless you're a real star. And I think for Luke Walton, it just came down to feeling comfortable on the floor, feeling confident even after you've missed a couple shots in a row. And it's the first time I've seen him in his career where he's felt that way.
Lakers in a spurt where they've outscored the Jazz 20-7 in this second quarter. Miles thought he took a hit. Final seconds of the half. Bryant playing for a last shot. Gets the pick. Bryant to the rim. Whoa! Serving up a facial. There's Williams. Hoppering. Can he get it off on time? Nope. Waved off. Had it gone. And the crowd buzzing about that drive and stuff by Kobe Bryant.
That was unbelievable. I thought he was just going to lay that ball in, and he just hammered it over the top of everybody.
Lakers conclude the first half on a 22-7 spurt over the last 9 minutes, and they have a 53-41 lead at halftime. Kobe Bryant leads the way with 22. Let's go to Craig.
Well, Kobe, you told us you didn't feel you'd be back in full form until January after the arthroscopic knee surgery. But you certainly look like you are tonight. What's the difference? How good do you feel tonight?
I feel pretty good. You know, it's the knee's getting better, it's getting stronger, so I feel pretty good.
Only 16 field goal attempts so far this year. You have 16 already here in this first half. What did you decide to do tonight?
Just being more aggressive. You know, it's last game we struggled a little bit, and I feel like my teammates feed off of my confidence. So if I can come out, be more aggressive, be more assertive, I think they'll feed off of that.
All right, thanks a lot. Great first half. Kobe Bryant, very aggressive, 22 points. The Lakers.
How you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
We are back at Staples Center in Los Angeles, the city of angels. Tonight's high-definition aerials being presented by Lexmark. Lakers up 53-41 as we head to the second half. Marv Albert, Steve Kerr, Craig Sager, and the Utah Jazz with a struggling second quarter. They shoot just 6 of 20 from the field. On the other hand, the Lakers have been on fire, 20 of 40, led by Kobe Bryant, who had a brilliant first half.
Now, Kobe was awesome. I mean, 10 of 16. I think he looks more active and energetic than he has at any point all season. And he just attacked whoever was guarding him, whether it was C.J. Miles, Matt Harpring, Kirilenko. He had the turnaround fadeaways going. He had transition hoops. He attacked the heart of the Utah defense. And then at the other end, I thought Lakers did a great job defensively. They handled Utah in the paint as we look at the game summary. Look at the rebound totals. Utah, the best board team in the NBA. Lakers 24-19, and LA forced 11 turnovers too.
You see points in the paint. Lakers 28 and the Jazz 18. The end result, 12-point Laker lead as we head to the second half. Let's check in with Craig.
Steve mentioned whoever was guarding Kobe, 3 different names. However, here in the second half, Jerry Sloan says it'll be mostly Andre Kirilenko, particularly down the stretch, whose responsibility it will be trying to stop Kobe Bryant. Also, Sloan said, it's amazing our second unit has been so strong in other games. Tonight, they were simply outplayed, out-hustled. The Lakers are far more aggressive. I said, is that the fact that you're playing back-to-back and perhaps 4 games in 5 nights? He goes, you know me, we don't make excuses. You just got to go out and play. Mark?
Well, Charles and Kenny were talking about possibility of back-to-back affecting the Jazz here tonight. In the previous second games of back-to-back, they have won 3 and lost 1.
Well, Jerry Sloan will never make an excuse, and he's not going to make one now, but I think a lot of times in back-to-backs, it is up to the reserve players to provide that energy, but just 4 for 14, 9 points for Utah's reserve so far.
Andre Kirilenko with his first block of the night. A pass off the mark, handled by Boozer. They're just throwing the ball around, and Bryant got a piece of it, so the Jazz will maintain possession. Both teams are back to their starting lineups. For Utah, Okor up front with Boozer and Kirilenko. Point guard is Darren Williams. Ball slapped away. Once again, recovered by Utah. That's the rookie Ronnie Brewer. And Williams from way downtown. Rebound is lost with both Kwame Brown and Luke Walton going for it. So Utah will get the new clock.
Well, Boozer got off to the quick start. He had 10 points, I think, in the first quarter and has not been heard from since. So Utah's got to try to establish him down low, and the way to do it is to get that offense clicking.
And there it is as Carlos Boozer takes the pass from Darren Williams. Assist number 7 for Williams, along with 8 points. Kirilenko able to tip it over to Okor. Utah at 13-3, the best record in the NBA. Kirilenko is fouled, and he will shoot 2. While the Lakers come in at 9-5. The foul on Bryant, that is his second. Andre Kirilenko had missed 5 straight games with a sprained right ankle. He's a guy who's been injury hit over the years. Returned against the Lakers last week, and Stephen, that game he had 5 block shots.
And he also shut down Kobe Bryant in the fourth quarter. Kobe was 0 for 3 in that final stanza, and that's when the Jazz pulled away in that terrific game. But he's still trying to find himself this season, coming off that ankle injury. Doesn't have the jumper going just yet.
In that game last Friday night in Salt Lake City, Lakers allowed 64 points in the second half, led by 7 at the start of the fourth quarter. But as you mentioned, very quiet for Kobe and Lamar Odom. Bryant again! Able to extend and put it down.
Well, Phil Jackson worked on that zone offense the entire day yesterday, and apparently it worked. That's the first time we've really seen zone out of Utah so far after the Lakers saw it for 48 minutes against Milwaukee. And they did what they couldn't do the other night. They got the ball right in the middle of the paint. And that's the area you have to attack, right there. As soon as the ball goes there, the defense has to react. If you're Kobe, you can just get up over the top of everybody and dunk it. And he actually just pushes it, forces it over the rim.
Foul was called on Luke Walton. Second team foul on the Lakers. Kobe Bryant with 2 sensational stuffs. One right at the end of the first half. Williams with a nice move. It counts, and the foul.
What a beautiful move from Williams. He's so good at that penetration and then the ability to absorb contact. Watch him take the pass out of the double team from Okor, the crossover around Walton, and then draws the foul from Kwame Brown. And he has gotten himself in much better shape. I asked Gary Briggs, the Utah trainer today, I said, is it true he's lost 15 pounds? He said it's more like about 5. Williams has worked on his conditioning. He hasn't lost that much weight, but he's gotten stronger and much more confident.
Kobe Bryant with a turnaround. 12 of 18 from the field, 26 points for Bryant. Lakers 57, the Jazz 48. Second of our TNT doubleheader. Earlier tonight, Pistons beat Miami 87-85. Okor try to adjust on the shot, handled by Parker. Pistons now 10-5. They have won 7 in a row, and now Bryant is fouled by Williams. So Kobe will head to the line.
He looks more like the Kobe Bryant we saw last year, who led the NBA in scoring at about 35 a game. Remember we showed that graphic early in tonight's game. He's averaging 16 shot attempts per game this season as opposed to 27 last year. Well, he's already at 18, so you can see he's in attack mode tonight.
Kobe Bryant changing to uniform number 24. He did wear that number as a freshman in high school.
Still doesn't look right. I find myself when I turn the Lakers on TV, I see the different number. I think that's somebody else.
Strong move by Boozer. So that's 14 points for Boozer. And we've heard about 12 different reasons as to why Kobe made the number change. There's a lot for Bryant. And last touched by Bryant. So here comes Darren Williams trying to fast break on the Lakers and would have succeeded, but that ball was tipped away by Walton.
Well, Kobe's lucky because he spent that entire possession complaining to the officials, and Darren Williams just pushed the ball right down the throat of the Lakers defense. And they're lucky they didn't give up an easy 2.
Lakers ending the first half with a 22-7 run. Lakers lead is now 9. 3 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Kirilenko passed on a 3. A beautiful handoff to Boozer, and he is tied up. Nice play, they'll jump it up.
that's been the story of this game. Lakers have been really active defensively, and every time it looks like they're about to give up a hoop, they make a deflection, they come in for a block shot, they get a rebound.
It'll be Bryant and Boozer. Kobe did not like the fact that Boozer had his hands up. And the Lakers control. Bryant had a hesitation move, and he draws the foul. It's a blocking foul. And as you watch Kobe Bryant, you see the swagger has returned here tonight.
I was going to say the same thing. He's got that scowl on his face. He's had it since, I think, midway through the first quarter. He's coming off 2 very poor games. He hates to lose. We know that. And he looks awesome tonight.
What a beautiful pass. Bryant to Walt. Lakers up by 11. Boozer. There was contact. Foul is called on the Lakers, and Boozer will go to the line.
Well, we heard Charles Barkley talk at halftime about Utah looking tired, and I agree. I think he made a great point. And you can see right now in the opening minutes of the third quarter, they're coming out with a lot of energy. Darren Williams is making a point of pushing the ball at every opportunity.
Foul on Kwame Brown. That's his third. Carlos Boozer in his 5th season. Indeed, the subject of many trade rumors during the off season. Here's that beautiful feed from Kobe Bryant to Luke Walton. The question with Carlos Boozer is, can he stay healthy? He has missed 80 games over the past 2 years. Finished very strong though last season after returning.
Had the hamstring injury, and there was a point last year, Marv, where some Jazz fans were wondering whether he was faking it. He has a house out here in L.A. He did until recently. Bryant with the hoop and the foul. But there was a lot of talk that Boozer was trying to find a way to get traded to the Lakers. When people were questioning his work ethic, and the Utah training staff said, look, this guy's got a severely strained hamstring. You can see how hard he's worked to come back to top form this year, performing at an all-star level.
Kobe Bryant with 31 points. He has all Laker points here in the third quarter. He has scored all 9 for the Lakers. Okoro on that foul, number 4. He will come out in a moment. Darren Collins over at the scorer's table. Okoro passing up the shot. Kirilenko wide open, able to knock down a 3.
Now we're finally starting to see Utah play the way they like to play. Move the ball, spread the floor, hard cutting, good screens, and make that extra pass.
Here's Brown on the spin. Jazz looking for a traveling violation, but he was tripped up. Collins will come on. The foul is called on Kirilenko. That is his first. So Collins for Okoro. Okoro with 7 points, 4 personal fouls. Brown comes out to set the pick. And it is a defensive. Well, apparently Collins called for the reach-in foul.
Utah getting hit with a lot of fouls here tonight. Okoro, we just saw him go to the bench with 4. Now Collins picks one up. And Utah already in the penalty here. So the Lakers will be going to the line for the final 8 minutes of the third quarter. That's tough when you're trying to claw your way back from a 10-point deficit.
Kwame Brown was set back by a sprained shoulder, missed the first 7 games. The overall number 1 pick in the 2001 draft by the Wizards. Went on in the second half last season. Ended up at center with Chris Minn injuring his ankle. Minn's still out, recovering now from arthroscopic surgery. Asked Phil Jackson about Minn. He said the hope is that he'd be back in time for the playoffs.
But nobody plays if you haven't played all regular season.
And it's batted out by Brown, who hears it from the crowd for the hustle.
Now, they've been searching for athleticism and activity on that front line the last couple of years. Kwame really came on last year toward the end of the season, and then Bynum's emergence this year has Laker fans really hopeful.
And Williams too strong. And Bryant with the feed. Walton. Offensive foul on Luke Walton.
I think that's a tough call for Walton because it didn't look like he was out of control. I thought Williams kind of got underneath Walton, and sometimes with the officials, they're looking at the player's feet to see whether he's out, but you see he actually initiated the contact with that right elbow.
Second foul called on Walton. Lakers up by 11. Collins sets the pick. Williams gets it to Boozer. Off the double. Pass intended for Collins. And it's a Utah turnover. Oh, the steal by Brewer. Brewer to the reverse. It's put down by Kirilenko.
A little miscommunication between Lamar Odom and Kobe. Bryant was out on the wing in transition. Odom was trying to feed him the ball.
And the Lakers want to talk. So Andre Kirilenko now with 12 points. And the Jazz moving within 9.
TNT, brought to you by the new 2007 Wrangler Unlimited, a new species from Jeep, and by Sharp Aquos. Nothing is lost.
Talked earlier about Kobe Bryant changing his number this season from 8 to number 24. Now, Steve, you also changed your number, but not because you wanted to. You pretty much had to. You wore number 4 as a rookie with Phoenix. Obviously, this way before high-definition video. And then number 5 and 4 in Cleveland from 89 to 92. You were obviously confused. And on to number 2 with Orlando, hoping the lower number would help the career. Had number 25 in Chicago, back to 4 in San Antonio, back to 25 in Portland. That's the high on Steve Kerr look, and then finally 25 in San Antonio. And number 24, Kobe Bryant, now has 33 points.
Well, I was just trying to change identity.
I see.
And it never worked. I was always the same guy.
Yeah, how would you consider the witness protection program, Steve? 6.5 remaining in the third, and the Lakers up by 11. Offering. Utah continues to struggle with the shot. Bryant putting moves on Kirilenko, who does not go for it. And Bryant with the jumper.
15 out of 21 for Kobe Bryant. 35 points. This is vintage Kobe. I think it's really the first time that he feels like he's back. I mean, he's talked about it throughout this season, just trying to get his timing, get his strength, his speed. And it all looks there tonight.
Ball last touched by the Lakers, so Utah maintains possession.
Well, keep in mind, Andre Kirilenko has the wingspan of about a 7-footer, and he stays right with Kobe, extends his arm, and Kobe just shoots right over the top and drains the jumper.
It's Collins. Collins on the rebound. Collins off the fake. Boozer. And a foul. It's on the Lakers. Both teams are now over the foul limit. Getting back to Kobe, he did have that 140-point game last week against the Clippers. Walton on the foul. That is his third. Last season, Kobe had a franchise record 27 40-point performances.
And you look at the graphic there, this season he's only been over 30 4 times. So clearly just trying to find his rhythm. And I would say he discovered it.
In his third quarter, Kobe with 13 of his 35 points. He's hit all 5 of his shots, 3 of 3 at the line. So Boozer with 17 points, and the Lakers now lead 69-58.
Well, they've got to continue to work hard on the glass. Mark, we talked about the rebounding at the beginning of the game. Utah has been dominant all season. Lakers, as Kirilenko picks up the foul on Kobe, which will result in 2 more free throws. Lakers with a 28-23 rebounding edge. And remember, when these two clubs met a week ago, it was 45-27 on the boards in favor of the Jazz.
Well, national television coverage of the NBA continues Friday on ESPN. The Kings and the Mavericks coverage starting 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Saturday on NBA TV, it's the Sonics and these Utah Jazz starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. 37 for Bryant. Lakers now lead by 13. It's their biggest lead of the night. Shot by Odom on Kirilenko, and then the ball lost by Harper.
They're just not themselves, so you can see it in their ball handling, their execution. They're trying here in the third quarter. They're trying hard. They're cutting and they're running, but it just seems like one of those NBA nights, 4th game in 5 nights, can't get anything going.
Here's Parker for 3. Handed by Collins. Nice crossover by Williams. And the foul is called. It is on Parker. So Darren Williams will head to the line. Last season, this is a Utah team that went 41-41, did not make the playoffs for a 3rd straight year. They finished 3 games behind the 8th place team, Sacramento. But 41 wins represented 15 more than the previous season. Now they won a disastrous 26 and 56.
And I thought 41 was miraculous. I mean, that was a great coaching job by Jerry Sloan, because remember, they were without Carlos Boozer most of the year. They were out Andre Kirilenko for much of the season because of injury, and they were putting together patchwork lineups throughout the season. And the reason they're 13-3 now, they are healthy and deep.
Although having their difficulties here tonight, Kobe Bryant on fire. He has hit his last 8 shots. He has scored 17 of his 39 here in the 3rd.
And Kirilenko knows he can't put a body on him because the Jazz are in the penalty. They have been for quite some time. Boozer gets the jumper to go. But Kirilenko knows he can't be physical with Kobe, or he's going to send him right back to the free throw line.
Lakers up by 13. Here's Kwame Brown getting it down low to Lamar Odom, of the foul on Carlos Boozer. That's the second on Boozer. Lakers have won 8 of 10 here at home. They lead the Pacific Division by a half game over the Sacramento Kings. They will be here on Saturday night again for the Clippers, although it is technically a Clipper home game, and Monday night home for Indiana as this home stretch continues.
This is a good team. I mean, I don't know if many people expected the Lakers to challenge for the Pacific title, but I think they will, because they're much more well-rounded than they have been in the last couple of seasons. We know they have Kobe, but Walton's playing much better. You've got Bynum and Brown kind of playing a tag team inside. They're better defensively. I just think once Kobe is right, this team, and Kobe's obviously right now, this team's going to be tough to beat.
The shooting woes continue for the Jazz. Here's Walton taking to the rim. It counts as a foul. He protected it, went to the left hand, went right at Gordon Gierczak, and Gierczak called for the personal.
Well, some guys are one-footed jumpers and other guys are two-footed jumpers. Walton's a guy who likes to go off of 2. That's why he gathers himself, gets up pretty high, and then switches over to the left hand, draws the foul. And Luke Walton having another solid game here tonight.
Point number 10 for Luke. So the Lakers with an 18-point advantage. Williams with the nice pass to Boozer. Shovel flip, and Boozer able to put it in, 78-62. Shot clock down to 8. Bryant for 3. Yes.
Oh, come on.
That's 9 straight makes for Kobe Bryant. He has 42. That's a season high. And Darren Williams back for Utah. 81-64 Lakers.
17 out of 23 for Kobe, just sizzling.
Just under 3 minutes to play in the third. Bryant for three. Yes! 10 consecutive shots for Kobe Bryant. He has 45 points.
That was from about 27 feet.
Lakers up by 20. And ready to chat of MVP. We're 15 games into the season. Luke Walton picks up number 4. Kobe Bryant, 45 points. He's hit 10 in a row, 2 straight from downtown.
I'm ready to give him the MVP award. Look at this one, about 4 feet behind that line. Lakers by 20.
Log on to TNT.
Kobe Bryant show. I mean, this has been ridiculous. This half, 23 points in the quarter for Kobe. You see the dunk against the zone, the feed to Luke Walton, and he starts going crazy offensively. The pull-up, another pull-up over Kirilenko, and then he decides, I'm hot, so I'm not even going to bother with the dribble. I'm just going to keep rising up and raining jumpers in over this Utah defense. Absolutely on fire. 18 for 24. Just smoking.
He's hit his last 10 shots, 8 for 8 from the field in the third. You mentioned 23 of his 45 in the third. Our statistician, Mr. Stats, Elliot Cow, checking the record books. The all-time NBA record most points in a quarter held by the Iceman, George Gervin, as a member of San Antonio, did it at New Orleans against the Jazz of New Orleans. That was back in April of 78, 33 in a quarter.
Well, Kobe's got 2 more free throws coming now, so got a chance to get to 25 with 2.5 minutes left to go. He might make a little run at this record.
Here a check on the foul. Now Collins departs. Millsap is back. So Kobe Bryant with a season high already. The previous season high, 40-point game against the Clippers. Point number 46.
Well, Charles talked at halftime about Utah and the fact that they don't have a go-to guy, a top 5 or 6 player in the NBA type player. And Boozer is probably the closest thing they have, but he's not there yet. But this is the kind of game you see where you say, in the playoffs, if you don't have that one guy, it is awfully tough to win. And I think that's going to be Utah's challenge. They have to get much better offensively with their execution. Foul there on Kobe. Utah has not handled the ball well tonight at all. They've got to start taking care of the basketball better, start running that Jerry Sloan offense, and share the basketball as a team.
Third foul on Bryant. Juracek to the line with the Lakers over the foul limit. The Laker franchise record, most points in a quarter, is held by Kobe Bryant, who had 30 against Dallas, December of 2005. I think of Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor and Jerry West, but it's Kobe who has the record and is challenging it here, but we come up on 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Jordan Farmar check back in. Farmar with the ball. Farmar with a head fake. He's looking for Kobe. The ball is slapped away. 1 on the shot clock, and Farmar does not hit the rim. It's a 24-second violation.
Phil Jackson barks at his rookie. He says, shoot it. He thought he had a shot earlier in the possession, and I think one of the things that happens when you're a rookie playing with a Hall of Fame type player who's hot, you feel like you have to throw him the ball, but you still have to play the game. You got to take a shot if it's there.
Juracek got the step. Brown came over on the block. Bryant fires for 3, and he's fouled. He is fouled by Williams. So Kobe to the line, and he will have 3 free throws.
Well, this is what it's come to. I mean, Kobe had an advantage on the break here, but he's so hot, he's just going to pull up. And if you're Williams, you have to challenge that shot. I mean, you just watched Kobe drain about 10 in a row, and he gets a hand on it.
That is point number 48. Well, the NBA on TNT continues. Coming up next, it is Inside the NBA. Ray Allen shows us the art of shooting on TNT Fundamental. Kobe has been doing a pretty good job of showing us the art of shooting. Then next week, it's another NBA doubleheader. Game 1, Pistons going up against Dirk Nowitzki and the Mavericks, and we're told that Dirk is okay. And then in Game 2, it's the Heat and the Kings. Miami losing earlier tonight here on TNT to the Pistons, who made it 7 straight wins. Kobe Bryant with 50 points. 28 have come here in the third quarter. So he is chasing the franchise record for a quarter, which he possesses as Boozer goes to the line. Carlos Boozer was hit by Kobe Bryant. That's 4 on Bryant, and Phil Jackson pull Bryant here.
I don't think he will. I mean, you got to let him go. The crowd would probably boo Jackson if he took him out right now. They got to just let him go.
Carlos Boozer, the high point man for the Jazz with 21. Phil looks really concerned.
really nervous.
Checking the glasses, checking the framework.
And he's not about to take Kobe out. When he's playing like this, when he's got that jumper going, his fundamentals are so good. His footwork is so good. His pivoting, everything. There's nothing you can do. You can't put him in a spot in which he's uncomfortable.
Check up on Bryant, who shoots over him and scores! That's 11 straight. He's tied a franchise record with 30 in this third quarter. 52 points for Bryant.
And even Jack Nicholson stood up. You know it's impressive when Jack gets off his feet.
Boozer? Yes. Lakers 91. Jazz 71.
I'd throw it to Kobe.
Excellent call, Steve.
Thank you. Finally, here comes the double.
Odom behind the back, and Evans is fouled.
Well, I was waiting for Utah to send a double team his way, and they finally did. And Lakers did the right thing. They swung the ball to the weak side. What a pass from Odom. That was beautiful.
Ballmar to Odom, who was able to sweep it behind the back, and Evans to the line. Foul on Boozer, his third. Not take the friendly hop. And Sasha Vujacic has come on for Kobe Bryant, receiving a standing ovation.
And Jackson doesn't even acknowledge him. These guys actually get along very well now. There's been a lot written this year about the fact that Bryant and Jackson have made amends. Look, Phil's an interesting guy as a coach. He rarely cheers on a player.
And that is last touch by the Lakers. Would he acknowledge Michael Jordan after an extraordinary performance?
No, I think he just sort of expects it, and he's more concerned about what's going on in the action. And a lot of coaches would at least give him a slap, a handshake, something. I would have bowed in front of him and kissed his feet.
Easy, Steve.
Maybe not.
So Kobe with 52 points, 30 coming in the third quarter to tie a franchise record most points in a quarter, which was held by Bryant. And Kobe sitting down after hitting his last 11 shots. Farmar on that foul, and the former Laker, Derek Fisher, who has seen a host of incredible performances by Bryant in his days with the Lakers. Derek spending 8 seasons with the Lakers. 5 under Phil Jackson, and somewhere George Gervin is saying, my record is set. Glad to see Kobe take a seat. George Gervin had a 33-point quarter for San Antonio back in April of '78, and coincidentally did it against the Jazz when they played in New Orleans. Here's Odom with time running down. That's a three at the buzzer.
It's contagious.
Sensational shooting by the Lakers at 60% from the field. And after 3, they lead Utah 95-73. You're watching the NBA on TNT. Well, earlier we checked out the crowd here at Staples, which included Denzel and Jack. Also on hand, Andy Garcia, Ray Liotta, Penny Marshall, a regular at Laker and Clipper games, and courtside, Lindsay Lohan. It's a starry night here in LA, and the man of the spotlight has been the new number 24, Kobe Bryant. 52 points, 30 coming in the third quarter, which equals a franchise record that was set by Kobe Bryant. Last year he had 6 50-plus games. Derek Fisher able to hit from long range, so the Lakers now lead 95-75. And last season, those 66 50-plus games included the 81 against the Toronto Raptors.
How about 52 points on 25 shots and just 1 turnover for Kobe?
Andrew Bynum will just check back in with his first bucket.
Phil Jackson hopes that he doesn't have to put Kobe back in. He doesn't plan to. And with a 22-point lead, we'll see. But if Utah gets back in this thing a little bit, we may see Kobe, and maybe he'll get 60.
Millsap with the field goal. Lakers now lead 97-77. Opening minutes, fourth quarter. Marv Albert with Steve Kerr and Craig Sager on the turnover by Farmar. Utah will get it back. Fisher pushing it down. Goes to the pull-up from mid-range. Rebounded by Bynum. He lost it. Lockring took it out of his hands. Fisher passed on a 3. And Juracek called for the traveling violation.
Utah is going to try to push the ball and obviously do everything they can to increase the tempo here. But the story of the game for the Lakers, besides Kobe, is the rebounds. 31-25 against the league's best rebounding club.
Bynum played by Millsap. That was an intended pass. Millsap on the spin. Nice move.
Great body control. He's a nice-looking young player. We know about his rebounding. We talked about it earlier in the telecast. Led the country in rebounding for 3 straight seasons at Louisiana Tech. But he's showing a little more lateral versatility than I thought he had.
Second-round pick out of Louisiana Tech. And a foul is called on Millsap.
Watch this play here. The ability to put the ball on the floor in traffic, spin, and then regain his control. That's impressive. Jerry Sloan has raved about this kid, and that doesn't happen often with rookies on the Utah Jazz.
Odom digging on Kirilenko, and the foul on Kirilenko. That's his third.
Well, this is a small lineup for Utah, and we'll see if Andrew Bynum can keep up with the pace of the game. He struggled in the first half with I think, the smaller, quicker Utah lineup, and that last double team bothered him. Let's see how he handles it here.
There's the double again. Hoffman came over. Nice move by Bynum, and Odom on the follow.
Well, he handled the double team well, and just getting the ball up to the rim is almost an assist when that double comes, because then the rebounding is completely out of whack for Utah.
14 points for Lamar Odom. Kirilenko for 3, and Bynum able to get to it. Vujacic, who has not been seeing much action. Vujacic and Farmar in the backcourt with Bynum, Odom, and Evans on the front line. Shot clock down to 4. Here's Evans for 3. Sloan looking for some more offense, and he will reinsert the middle core. 3 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter. Catch and shoot by Juracek. Kept alive. Once again, it's Millsap able to squeeze his way in for the rebound.
Some guys just have a knack for finding the ball, and Millsap is one of those guys, and one of the reasons is his anticipation. He's got quick feet and long arms and great hands, but he just looks like he knows where the ball is going all the time.
Jordan Farmar. Farmar had a solid game against the Nets Sunday night after sitting out a couple of games with a sprained ankle. Hit 4 of 11 points, 16 minutes. Followed up by 10.7 assists against the Bucks this past Tuesday. The basket is waved off and a foul is called. It is on Farmar. 4 minutes gone by here in the fourth. Lakers up by 20. Andre providing us with some international flavor. It is time for Steve Wonders, presented by Vegas.com. What are you doing? This is shameless promotion.
Sorry, just taking a little coffee break. Marv, we've been talking about Paul Millsap.
There's nothing in it.
Second-round pick for Utah, and I was wondering what team has the most second-round picks on its current roster. Well, Millsap looks like he's a keeper, and lo and behold, little continuity here, Marv. It is the Jazz. Look at the names on that list. Not all of them drafted by Utah, but I think Kevin O'Connor has done a really nice job with this roster here. He's always drafted very well.
Once again, Millsap on the follow. What an excellent Steve Wonders.
Thank you. Do you want some coffee, or are you good?
Here's Kobe Bryant, who checked back in. Tip was missed, so Kobe, after hitting 11 in a row, finally misses a shot, and the foul is called on Fisher. So here is Kobe looking to hit the 60-point mark. Andrew Bynum to the foul line. Bynum, the 7-footer, 19 years old, first-round draft pick last year at the age of 17 when he was drafted, youngest player ever drafted right out of high school. Out of Plainsboro, New Jersey. Went to St. Joseph's Metuchen in New Jersey. Okoro just checked back in. He's been off and rebounded by Bryant.
Well, the Lakers have just controlled the paint tonight. I mean, just not much around the basket area for Utah. They're missing a lot of jump shots. And the Lakers, as we talked about, rebounding well.
Evans took it from Bryant and actually wanted Kobe to make a move to his right, and Kobe said no, and then Evans hit the shot. Bryant called for the foul. That's number 5. Now here's Boozer checking back in. Brewer is back.
And now Kobe is going to switch over to Brewer because he has the 5 fouls. And they'll put Evans over onto Kirilenko.
Lakers in a romp. They're up 106-83.
I'm actually surprised that Kobe came back into the game so quickly.
Oh! Maurice Evans with 12 points. Okoro. Well, we have 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. Kobe Bryant with 52 points. Equal the franchise record for a quarter with 30. At one point hit 11 consecutive shots, and it's all going in for the Lakers. Farmar hits from downtown.
Well, the other night against that Milwaukee zone, Marvin, the Lakers took 37 three-pointers, most in franchise history. They're 6 of 13 tonight, so they've been much more selective, much more patient. Of course, they haven't faced a zone very often, but this is a much more well-balanced offense we're seeing out of L.A.
Yeah, Phil Jackson said we're just chucking up three-pointers the other night. Knocked away by Kirilenko. Brewer lost it. So the Lakers get it back with just under 6 remaining in this fourth quarter.
It's been all Lakers, and when it's not Kobe, it's somebody else. Maurice Evans there with the dunk.
Ring is my bag.
The battle for Middle Earth.
Brought to you by the new Hyundai Azera. It may be the most car for the money ever. By Lexmark, the printer company that goes to work for some of the world's most important companies. By TNT Overtime. Log on to TNT Overtime at NBA.com. And by AdidasBasketball.com. Check out the new T-Max 6 at AdidasBasketball.com. It takes 5.
Monday, the closer is all new with a 2-hour special event.
I want my job back.
Brenda's most dangerous case. Cable's #1 series of all time is back. The Closer, an all-new 2-hour special event. Monday at 8 on TNT.
Lakers with a 111-85 lead on the Jazz. Kobe Bryant looking to add to his 52-point total, but once again it's Jordan Farmar hitting from beyond the three-point line.
Feeling it. I think that's his third three-pointer of the night. Came into the game shooting a little over 30% from beyond the arc. So Farmar starting to feel the touch.
Here's Boozer. 26 for Boozer. Most points in the game thus far this season. Michael Redd hit 57 back on November 11th against the Jazz.
And he had 45 here 2 nights ago.
Oh, what a pass. Bryant whipping it from Bynum, who was pushed. But Bynum will go to the foul line. Foul on Boozer.
Last 2 possessions, Kobe has looked for teammates. He hit Farmar for the 3, and then finding that pass through traffic to Bynum.
Now D. Brown, rookie out of Illinois, second-round draft pick, one of the many second-round picks, as you mentioned, for Utah, has come on for the first time. C.J. Miles also back. Boozer and Kirilenko will sit.
I think it's time to sit Kobe, too. You've got a 28-point lead, 5 minutes left, and the Jazz are emptying their bench. You can't mess around now and sprain an ankle or something.
And I say this in the most affectionate way possible. It is now garbage time.
I love it when you say that.
Although with Kobe on the floor, there is obviously still a curiosity as to how many points he will end up with. There's O'Core getting inside and fouled by Bynum. Let's check in with Craig Sager. Craig?
Well, Marv, you mentioned the 30-point third quarter by Kobe, the fact they made 11 field goals in a row. They've just now been passing out the stat sheets for the third quarter to everybody around here in the press row. They didn't realize he had such a great quarter. Then you look, 9 out of 9 from the field, 10 out of 10 from the free throw line. Shot 19 times in the third quarter. Made all 19.
All right, Craig, and now Kobe Bryant receiving a standing ovation, and Phil is up, clapping. A little high five.
You can give him a high five. How about that? That's a great way to put it from Craig. He shot 19 times, and he made 19. I've heard Doug Collins say before on telecast, to see the ball go through the hoop once or twice makes it so much easier to take the next one. How about when you see it go through the hoop 19 straight times? Are you feeling any confidence then?
Well, this will go down as one of the great performances of all time for a single quarter. Nice move by Brewer. As Kobe Bryant comes just shy of the all-time record that was set by George Gervin against the Jazz franchise when they were in New Orleans. So the Iceman's record lives on. Turiaf played well, able to give the Lakers a 118-91 lead, and that equals most points by the Lakers this season.
I seem to remember Sleepy Floyd having a huge quarter against the Lakers, possibly even in a playoff game, maybe 29 or 30 in one quarter. I don't know if that's the playoff record. Maybe we can have Mr. Stats, Elliot Cal, look that one up.
He's been very busy here.